Hello my friends, this is Wake Angel 2001. If you hear a weird sound in the background, that is my 3D printer doing its thing. So, you know, we'll just let it do its thing and hopefully it won't be too distracting in the background. So, this is a surprise. Okay, so this is a gift from one of my former commissioners, Captain Fedora. As I recall, he was the one that I made Maverick Hunter X for. After he saw my review of the Samurai Prowl figure, you know, the new generation's version of animated Prowl, he caught on to the fact that I said that I never had Samurai Prowl in my youth, so he went ahead and bought one off of eBay for me. Like, just like that. Like, isn't that kind of awesome? What a great friend. So, yeah, thank you very much, Captain Fedora. That's probably one of the awesomest things a fan has done for me recently. So, yes, this is the upgraded Samurai Prowl from later on in the series when he got that little sidecar that gave him armor. It's a little dusty because it's such an old toy. I made sure that the transformation is as refined as I can get it. But I haven't actually messed around with it yet. I've just gotten it out of the box that it was sent to me. And this eBay purchase does have the instructions, picture of what the robot mode looks like. And look at how big they used to make the instructions back then. Hold on. Yeah, this is like glossy magazine quality paper, not ordinary newsprint. Everything is nice and clear, highlighted in easy to see colors, and it's two-sided. Like, wow, well, I guess they're two-sided these days, but yeah, the pictures are nice and big. It's better than the instructions you get these days, is what I'm trying to get at. So, yeah. So this is the motorcycle mode, what it was packaged in. So I guess the first thing I wanted to do was get a good comparison in with the modern Prowl figure that's been made recently and the original animated Prowl figure that I had from back in the day. Of course, I gotta adjust one thing. The sidecar is a thing. It's pretty big. It actually looks like a person could fit inside of there. That would be the same size as the person riding on top. The sidecar is a little bit hollow in the bottom, and if you look underneath, you can see the sword. But you know what? That's all well and good. This is oh, you can also see the back of the helmet there. But you know, this is to facilitate the transformation into Samurai mode, and if I recall how this transforms properly, it's gonna really be impressive when we get to it. So, I guess we can unpeg. There are two square pegs in the side of the sidecar that go into a slot here and a slot here. And once you get that off, you have the default motorcycle, which still has a kickstand. And it's a little bit hard to get the motorcycle to stand because this is a chair with a cushion and it's not exactly perfectly flat, but suffice to say, like, when you get a good display, it works on here. I feel like this is a little loose. I hope that's not a reflection on the quality of the figure. Hopefully it's not a floppy mess. I feel like this is supposed to peg. This should peg in here, but it doesn't. Ah, there we go. Yes. Oh, but doing that made this. Oh dear. When I push the wheel up so that it pegs in properly, it pops open the gas tank. When I push that gas tank down, I guess something might have gone a little bit awry with transformation. We'll see if anything went wrong once I get him into his robot mode. So I guess the first thing we're going to do is take the original Prowl, since this is what it will be compared to. In terms of physical differences, it looks like the wheels no longer have the removable shuriken thing, so you don't have that look anymore. Looks pretty much the same from either side now, instead of having that one weapon accessory stuck in, making the hubcap look different. Although it is still colored, like one is, like, there's two different colors on either side, so there's that. It's like the asymmetry is homaged, if not, you know, reflected. They also changed the lights. He's all blue up here instead of that blue and red thing like police lights. And you got a little bit more technical greeble in the windshield. The windshield is electric blue instead of completely clear. And the nose of the motorcycle is a little bit longer. It looks just a tiny bit sleeker and a tiny bit faster. So I guess we should actually do the transformation on camera for once. Let's see if I remember how to do this. Unpeg the arms and split them out. Oop, that's a ball joint. The ball joint's not loose, I just pulled too hard and popped it out. Okay, then you undo this and the leg popped out a joint. Oh dear. Hold on. There we go. Again, not a loose joint. I think it was just a little bit stressed from shipping. Remember, I have not messed with this figure yet. This is me getting him into his robot mode for the very first time. Let's pull the camera back a little bit, angle it upwards somewhat. Okay, then I believe this goes down. Yes, it does. Then you can straighten out the legs. Okay, the waist goes this way. Leg, leg, foot, foot. Okay, then this pushes back. Ooh, black hands. Interesting. And then that goes that way. And I believe, yes, you can even adjust these things now. Okay. All right. Okay, so here is a side-by-side comparison of their almost identical robot modes. Now, one cool thing is Samurai Prowl has had some changes to his mold. One thing is that these things on his back, they can be in the down position so that they match the original Prowl silhouette. Or you can push them up like this. This is obviously a gimmick for Samurai mode to be those little flags on his back. And aside from that, there do seem to be some running changes. I'm going to lean them back against a pillow backdrop so they don't fall over while I'm talking about them. They also still have the little lights turn around to turn into little tonfas on his forearms gimmick. So, you know, that's preserved as well. Changes. The original Prowl had a completely painted face, while Samurai Prowl has light piping. See if I can... Yes! The transparent visor looks a little bit weird, especially with the expression, which makes it look like he just has one really big eye. And a paint... Like, his crest is part of the light piping, but it's painted over. That looks kind of weird. Aside from that, if we go down to the torsos, you can find they still have the Autobot symbol. They still have that gold highlight. It's a little bit differently shaped because of the different nose. Samurai Prowl is a little bit taller because that extra long nose adds just a little bit more to his torso. It also does something to cover up the little ball joint in his abs. Like I mentioned before, his fingers are completely black while Prowl's are painted. Well, original Prowl. And this is probably the most notable thing. The original Prowl had ball jointed hips, but Samurai Prowl has ball jointed hips with an integrated thigh swivel. Now this thigh swivel makes the transformation a lot easier because you don't have to worry about the entire hip assembly being perfectly aligned to put him into robot mode, into vehicle mode. On the original one, the hip has special little cuts on the side so that it can go a very specific way. Like, they can do that when they go into, because that's exactly how the thighs have to be when it's in motorcycle mode. But here, and yes, it does get difficult to make sure everything is aligned when you're transforming the legs, but here, thanks to those thigh swivels, the transformation is much easier. Then, yeah, everything else is mostly the same, slightly different colors, but that's about it. Yep. I guess we can pan up the backs. Yep. From behind, it's almost impossible to tell them apart. if it wasn't for the little light bars, and also Prowl has gold thighs while Samurai Prowl has black thighs. But yes, the base robot mode is almost identical. So we can clearly tell that the biggest difference is going to come from the good old sidecar, which is his upgrade set. So I have never messed with this before, so I am going to be looking at the instructions off screen. Alright, so the first thing you do is you pull off the wheel. It's the only bit of part forming that happens here. And the katana comes out. Alright, so now we have that. We're just going to put that to the side and concentrate on this. Well, first we're going to... The instructions say to put Prowl's arms forward like this. And then these things would go up like that. So that's what Prowl has to do. And without doing anything yet, we take the entire sidecar and we plug it onto him. I'm impressed at the fact that we do not actually... There's slots on the backs of these little wing things. Look at that. The sidecar actually goes on one piece. That is cool and impressive. And can I get the pieces to line up for me? Okay, gonna have to do this off camera. Okay, it's on. It's not a very tight connection. Okay, so you put his arms up so that they're out of the way, and then this panel rotates down. Wait, I see. Yes. Ooh, that exposes details. Oh, this thing actually pegs in pretty tight. And it came unpegged again. Come on, Prowl, work with me. Okay, so we get... Okay, so these are the armor's side skirts, which I will put that way, and then I will get this back onto him. Hopefully there's more to attach than just those two things on the back, because they do not provide enough friction. Okay. Then we're gonna rotate around to the back. We're gonna separate these two parts, which are gonna go where? What? They don't... Oh, okay, that goes down. Can you tell why I don't normally do transformations on screen? Also reveals the helmet. Turn it around. Okay. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna bring these out. Okay. Alright, hopefully this will help. Okay, so you get that. Then you bring this. You bring this up. Yes. Does this peg anywhere? I don't see a peg anywhere for the shoulder armor to go into. The ball joints don't feel loose, they just pop off easily. Okay, so I guess that's how that goes. Then this helmet comes down and it goes over his regular head. Yep. Oh boy. And then you take the sword and it... there's a slot in the wheel that goes onto his forearm thusly. And that is how he wields the sword. Okay. Well, I embarrassed myself. It is... I still gotta say, although the execution's a bit clumsy, it's amazing that this actually transforms onto him as essentially one piece. Like, when I first saw pictures of this toy, I thought you would dismantle the sidecar and use it to make snap-on armor. Kind of like the weaponizer figures from Transformers RID. Except, you know, like, this guy, like, he's fully formed. Like, all the parts, like the armor goes on as a single piece, and it transforms onto him, like it does on the show. It's all one thing, and I feel like the alignment's a little bit off. Yeah, like, it does make an impressive silhouette with the much bigger shoulder pads and the more detailed helmet. Yeah, like, the helmet looks good, the shoulder pads look good. The legs are fairly unimpeded, so you can still get him to stand dynamically. The shoulder pads are on ball joints, so they do limit the arms a little bit, but they at least flex and give, so you can do things like have him get his sword in front of him. And even the helmet has a ball joint, so the head can still move. So even all armored up like this, the figure still has some posability. With posability that you are not appreciating because he is off camera mostly. He is also very top heavy. If I can rotate that around and get that there. The ball joints for the hips are a little bit loose. I could probably fix that myself with a little bit of super glue, but yeah. Hold on, let me. Okay, I got him to stand. Yeah, like, the ball joints in the hips are definitely too loose. As soon as I tried to make him do anything wide-legged or impressive looking, he just started to slump right over when his legs gave out from under him. So it could be because of the age of the toy. It could be because of an inherent flaw in ball joint construction. But it does lead me to believe that that's why they use so many pin discs in the new Prowl. Like, Prowl doesn't have any ball joints on him except for his head. Everything on him is pin disked. So, like, and like, when I say pin disc, I mean pin disc. Those are metal pins, and those discs have good friction. So, like, they really wanted to get away from the trap of ball joints when they made the new version of the figure. But, you know, seeing them standing side by side, it's impressive just how tall Deluxes used to be, right? And remember, this wasn't the main line. This wasn't Generations. This was the cartoon toy line. Like, this is the cartoon delivering big, impressive, really cool-looking figures with sculpts and gimmicks and paint jobs that rivaled or surpassed the main line. And, you know, like who says that they're made for kids? These are legit Transformers. So yeah, like, I do believe that in terms of physical construction, the new Prowl is probably better. And if you want to have a Prowl that has a good job of carrying some bulk on him and not looking quite so lanky, you know, like, the original Bulkhead was, like, really tall and svelte, and then when he turns... I'm sorry, the original Prowl... Why am I saying Bulkhead? The original... It's because I was thinking of bulk. The original Prowl is, like, a very tall, lanky guy with that wine glass-shaped body. And then the Samurai Prowl made him a lot bulkier and more impressive looking, like with broader shoulders and bigger helmet and more armor and stuff. Although that does make him top heavy. And that's kind of what we're getting here. Like, the new Prowl was basically recapturing this aesthetic, but doing so without sacrificing flexibility or making the figure too top heavy. It's like, this just reinforces what I believed before about the fact that the new generation's figure of animated Prowl is just a really awesome figure, and I'm really happy that I got it. I still love this thing. It's fantastic. But you know what? This is kind of unbelievably badass. This is a big, giant, armored samurai. I mean, it's a giant robot that is wearing strap-on power armor. If only his own hips were capable of wielding it. I mean, like I said, if I go in there and tighten them, I might be able to make this figure a little bit more poseable and displayable. But holy crap, that's just freaking impressive. It's a very impressive looking figure. A very, very impressive looking toy. I mean, just look at that. That is absolutely badass. Like, seriously, I have very few words for this because I'm left at a loss. He's just so cool looking. Like, this, like, you take this lanky, svelte, slim little ninja and you turn him into this big, bulky, broad-shouldered, impressive samurai. It totally works. It's great. I absolutely love this figure. It's fantastic. It's a wonderful upgrade. And it's even optional because, like I said, this is basically armor. You can take it off and have just an improved version of the original Prowl figure if you want. Like, the animated toy line was absolutely brilliant, and I wish that the modern day cartoon toy lines could be like this. Because, like, nowadays we just get, like, all the characters are made in roughly deluxe scale. Whether it's a character that should be tiny like Twitch or someone who should be gigantic like Megatron, they're all the same height. And then, like, we don't get cool upgrades like this. We get the mainline figure, which is essentially a deluxe, and then we get like all the gimmick toys like the one-step changers and stuff like that. Like, they literally don't do cartoon toy lines like this anymore, and I really wish they did. Okay, so anything else I say from now on is just going to be gushing. Captain Fedora, suffice to say, you can leave some good feedback because this figure, like, loose hips aside, I think that that's just an inevitable fault of its aging. Not really anything to do with the construction quality of the figure itself. So you can go ahead and leave them positive feedback. This is an extremely grateful Wake Angel 2001 signing off.